Everyone, my name's Mel and this is my Flosstube channel, Patchy Pony Stitcher. Flosstube is predominantly about cross stitch, but there are also other crafts involved, and today I will be showing you a finished piece of English paper piecing that I have a finished project on. So welcome, especially welcome to any new watchers and subscribers, and welcome if you've visited before and you're coming back. Today is Monday the 7th of October, and here in Australia it is a typical spring day. We've got beautiful sunshine 1 minute and then wind and heavy rain the next. So I do apologize if all of a sudden the lighting changes and you can hear a downpour. It's a bit out of my control, but I won't complain. We do like the rain. Leads to lots of nice green growth for the horses and for hay production. So what have I been up to? I haven't seen you for a while. I have been busy, and yes, I've been stitching, but I sort of lost my Flosstube mojo. I just was more content stitching and watching all the other wonderful channels that are out there, and just didn't feel like filming. So it's taken me a little bit to get back on the wagon, but it is because I have so much to share today. So I've got two finishes, I have some whips, I've got some info, I've got plenty of future fun to show you. But let's get started with what I've first got, what's in my lap. So at the moment, I have finished my English paper piecing project that I've been working on. This was my very first project, so it is purely a beginner's project. There are lots of mistakes, but I'm really proud of it. So when I was choosing the fabric for this, I did not go and get really expensive fabric or designs. It was more about learning the process and seeing if I liked it, which I do, which is great. So this is a table runner. It's a spring colored decor table runner, and I just bought a charm pack from Spotlight, and these are the fabrics that were in it. So I've just did all the hexies, got those sewn together. I did machine stitch all the hexies. Oh, there's a loose thread. All the hexies once they were together onto the backing fabric, and then once that was all sandwiched, I did quilt in between the ditches. So it's quite a big long piece, as you can see, which sits on our dining room table for my spring decor. My next EPP project I'm going to try is a bigger hexagon shape. I found these nice big ones. I think they might even be 5-inch. They're about that sort of size. Yeah, about 5-inch that I found at Spotlight, and you can see more of the fabric, and I have some lovely horse print fabric that I'd like to give that a try on, so I'm not cutting it up and losing the pattern. So that will be my next little endeavour into English paper piecing, but I don't set time aside for that. It's just when I feel like it. It's good for a bit of a break when you don't want to be watching looking back and forth at charts and so forth and counting. You just go ahead and stitch away. And I quite find the putting the hexies together, like putting them onto the hexie paper, quite therapeutic too. That just not having to think, just do it, go through the motions of it. So there will be more English paper piecing in my channel to come. Other than that, I've been busy. I did go to a retreat in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, which is a wine region. I got to catch up with some of my favourite girlies. We got an Airbnb and spent 4 nights together there and had lots and lots of fun. Got to meet some new friends and also catch up with some older faces, and it was just a great retreat. So I really enjoyed it. That was my 3rd year. Well, I've been to all of them. There's been 3, and I've already got my name down for number 4, and I've also got my name down now also for the Stitching Merchant one in May in Glen Innes, which I'm really looking forward to, and the same 3 ladies, I'm number 4, are going along to that one as well. So that'll be a lot of fun, but it's just so far away. As in time, it's not until June, May, June next year. but I am heading off to a retreat in 2 weeks' time. I don't have to go far to this one though. It is actually here in Hobart. A Stitch in Time is hosting the retreat, and Brendan and Karen from A Fox and Rabbit are coming down as the designers, and they have a exclusive kit that is going to be released as part of the retreat. So I'm looking forward to that. It is a Halloween based themed retreat, and I'm not a Halloween stitcher, so it'll be interesting to see if it's adaptable just to be into like an autumn color and so forth. But there's going to be lots of fun. We're going to be doing dress ups and games and so forth. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not staying at the hotel. It's only 40 minutes from me, so I will come home each night. But looking forward to again catching up with some people that I met at the Daisy Chain retreat that are coming down. My crew are unfortunately not coming down for this one, so I will be hanging out with some new people, which will be great, and also seeing some other older friends as well at that one. So I'll definitely be able to give you a recap on that one in November. So what have I been stitching on? I have been stitching on lots, and I've got so much to share. I've got 2 finishes. They're not FFO'd, unfortunately. I have some whips. I've got some new starts. So let's get into those. I'm going to switch to my overhead camera. So for those that are new or haven't been here for a while, I do like to show my stitching on the overview, so I can keep it still, and I'm not trying to dodge around and be able to see what you're seeing. So let's get on to the finishes. Now this is one of the reasons why I haven't been videoing, because I was waiting and waiting for this one to be fully finished before I showed it, but it's just taking too long. The framer, aka Mr. Patchy Pony, hasn't got his button to gear to size down a frame for me. So I thought I'd show this one to you today, unframed. Extremely happy with how this turned out. This is called A Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. It is stitched on 32 count vintage country mocha by, well, actually I'm not sure who that does that particular, but it's got the printed finish on it. It was ironed, it got crumpled, was ironed, it got crumpled. So I've stopped ironing it until it is ready to go into the frame. Now I used mainly the DMCs. I did have some called for in this one, but it is predominantly the DMCs that I've used. There are specialty stitches. There's some, where are they? There's some eyelet stitches, and there are some straights. It's escaped me now what they're called. Just the straight stitch there. And there is also 1/1. So I'm going to zoom that in. So this did say here, it had a date and it had a joyous day, but I changed it to be our wedding anniversary, Mr. and Mrs., our initials, and our surname in there as well. So I was really happy with how the 1/1 came out. I hadn't done 1/1 before, but I was really, like, it was only a tiny bit, but I was really, really happy with how the 1/1 came out. So I'm super looking forward to having this on our wall. We were married, as you can see. Oh no, I didn't put the year on it. I just put the date. So we recently celebrated our 26th wedding anniversary. So I did have it completed before, I did have it completed before the 26th, but it didn't make it into a frame in time. But not to worry, that is all okay. The next one I'm going to show you is my other finish, called Christmas Tea by Brenda Gervais. So I'll just take this guy out of the way. And that is this chart here. I can't remember last time you saw it. This was a challenge stitch, and this is the completed piece on a 32 count even weave on a fabric dyed by myself. So I'll just zoom in so you can see that. And I have used no, I didn't use the called for, but I did use over dyes from my stash. And I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. It looks like a huge amount of stitching, especially that cup, but it really didn't take that long. I was really surprised actually, because once I did all the holly berries, the holly leaves and the berries first, and then just filled in the cup, and it just, I don't know, it was just easy stitching once you were just filling that in. So I completed that one at the daisy chain retreat. So they are my finishes, and now I'm going to show you whips. The first whip I'm sharing with you today is called Kaleidoscope by Laurie Holt. It does come in a booklet that is a quilt book. I don't think you can buy this just as the chart. So this is the chart itself that I'm stitching, and you can do it. There's a lot of different colour options. My colours came from Deb from Country Stitches. She showed hers on her channel and I just fell in love with it. Went out, stopped the video, went and bought the booklet, and had to get started on that right away. So this is my progress. So I'll pop a photo in beside of where I was. This is Deb's photo. I'll show you where hers is. And this is where I'm up to, and I just love this. This is on a 32 count even weave that I've used, and I'm using Valdani's and also one DMC. Now Valdani's come in a little ball. If you haven't used Valdani's before, they come like this, and they're a 3-ply cotton. And I have found that they'd sort of unraveled in my project bag. So I have found that these guys, what they're intended for is for actual spools, to hold cotton on spools, and people are now using them to hold fabric on their Q-snaps. And I have tons of these in my craft room because I bought a big pack of them. But I find in my project bag, it keeps them all nice and contained. So if you use Valdani's and you don't want to have to be bagging them or putting them on bobbins, this works really quite well. What I love about this particular project is the back stitching on the blue. So the light blue is the DMC and the dark blue is this Valdani, and we've got the green Valdani, and I missed one, I left one in my project bag. And then also this lovely brown Valdani. So this isn't too far away. I was actually quite surprised how small it ended up being. And I could potentially, I've got another piece of whole fabric exactly the same size that I haven't cut off yet. So I'm a little bit unsure. Actually, I could potentially, I don't know if I can zoom that out enough. I could potentially do, no, I wouldn't do 3 unless I did 1 and 1. I don't know. I'm not good, I've realised, well, not that I'm not good. I've come to realise that I don't like doing repetitive stitching a lot. So this is a lot of counting, being that it is mandala-like. It has to be exact, has to be. There's no fudging with this one. So as you can imagine, there's been some frogging. I love it. And I don't know whether I will or I will not stitch another one on the other piece, but at the moment I am loving this piece. So hopefully it won't be too far away from a finish. Okay, whip number 2 that I'm sharing today is my Maria Finny. Now I started this with 3 other ladies at a retreat this time last year. No, actually beg your pardon, it was the beginning, it was February this year. We got together in the Blue Mountains, not the Blue, is it the Blue Mountains? Yes, in the Blue Mountains, and had a little stitchy get together, just the 4 of us, and we all started working on this. I did do a little video if you are interested on what everybody was stitching on, because everyone was slightly different. And then we also all brought our pieces back together to the daisy chain retreat so we could have a photograph with them all together. So I'll pop that in here. And as you can see, 2 of the girls have finished. So I have a long way to go yet. So this is where I was up to before, when you last saw it. And this is where I'm up to now. And I have a long way to go. And the reason I don't stitch on it a lot, I think, is because it is a 25 count even weave and it's 1/1. And I just find that the thread falls behind the linen threads easy, and I have to be very, very careful with my tension. So in saying that, I'm not going to complete the full sampler. Now I am also doing Consider the Lilies, which has the big tree and Adam and Eve and so forth. So what I am doing with this particular one is actually omitting pretty much the middle band. So as you can see, I've got the flower pot and then this flower, and I will do the house and then the bottom border. So it will be quite different from the other girls, but I think the fabric for me with the one thread slipping behind the linen threads just makes it a little bit annoying to stitch on. I am liking the way it's coming together. I've changed my colours up quite considerably. You can see there was a blue here and I've gone for a different colour that I'd already used. I just found that the blue didn't really go with my fabric choice. So I'll pretty much stay with the colour palette that is currently in this one. And they are, pretty sure they're all DMCs. Let me have a look. Oh no, beg your pardon, I've got some, I've just picked from my stash, and I do have some of the called for, some of the weeks, and then other specialty flosses that I already had in my stash. So as you can see, this is the blue that I feel just didn't quite work with my fabric choice. So that is Maria Finny by Shakespeare's Peddler. Quaker Christmas too. I absolutely love this piece, and I've said many times this cover photo does not do this justice. This is a PDF printout. I have to work off paper, so obviously the PDF does have it in color. It is red with all the words in green, but I have gone with all red. This is where I was up to before, and I have put 1200 stitches into this one. And this is where I'm up to now. So I've done a fair bit, so I've only really got the bottom corner down here to go, and it is completed. So I won't do a reveal of this piece because I'm hoping by the next time I film, I will have a finish to show you, because I would like to have this up for Christmas this year. It's been a long time in the making, this one, and mainly because I've used it for challenge stitches, but it's going to become a focus stitch because I really want to have it up and on the wall for Christmas time. And I am using the DMC variegated thread, which is 115. So it's got a lovely variegation, and because I'm using DMC, it's been consistent through the whole 3 years of stitching, that I can just go grab another couple of skeins when I'm at Spotlight, and I managed to keep it all the same, not having to worry about dye lots. So that is Christmas Quaker 2. 4 is Eat, Stitch, Repeat by Stitch Rovia. This is just a fun little stitch that'll go in my craft room when I'm finished. Started for just some challenge stitching. This is where I was up to before, and this is where I'm up to now. So I've put a fair bit into this one. It is done on a 20 count Ada, 1/1. So again, I'm finding that I have to be really careful with the tension, otherwise the thread slips behind the fabric thread. So it is slow going. I just love the way that the designer, and her name is Emma Condon. She's got a few books out too, but her designer name is Stitch Rovia, and she's just really great with depth and detail with her colorings. So this will just go into a nice little hoop onto my wall in my stitchy room once this one's completed. Don't know when it'll get completed, it's just there, and I just plug away when I need it for challenges. But there'll be more about challenges coming up soon. So the fabric is a 36 count. I'm not sure if it is a dyed one or whether it is something that, because it didn't actually say in the kit what it was called. Now here are the threads that came with the kit. So they're weeks, and then there's 2 Gentle Arts, and there were 2 substitutions for 2 threads. So I love these colours, they're just beautiful, and that's what got me first, caught my eye for the actual pattern itself, was all the blues. Now at first I really wasn't keen on the green, which is called, which one was it? Sorry, I'm just having a look through. I don't think it was the Tarragon. It was this one called Loden. Haven't used this before by weeks, and it's quite variegated, as you can see. And when I started the stitching, I was like, oh, I'm not really sure if I like it. But I kept going, trust the process, and once I put the blue in for the two leaves, so that's, you can see where I've done that. I've got to put a lighter blue there. My thoughts changed on it, and I was happy with how the colours are. I'll just see if I can zoom in to give you an idea of how that green changes it's quite obviously an obvious variegation in the thread. So I didn't get a huge amount in that one, but it did become a start. So I was really happy with how that is coming along. So the Winter is Past by Blackbird Designs. Now this was my next new start that I had taken, kitted up, ready, and this has been in my stash for a little while. I can't remember who exactly it was that I saw on Flosstube show their start of these. Now I'm going to be doing all of these in the tree stitch, and I'm going to make them all different shapes and sizes. So this is where I have started with this one, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I only started this 3 weeks ago, and it's really been the only thing I've stitched on. I just absolutely love it. I love how quickly it comes together. I love the colours. This is a 25 count Lugana. Oops, sorry for bumping. Yeah, 25 count Lugana, and I don't have the problem of the one thread sliding behind the fabric thread, so I'm really enjoying this, and I just love how dainty it is. Now when I say I'm going to do them in all different sizes and also different colours, I don't want all the trees to be exactly the same height. I want them to be slightly different, some smaller counts. So I'll do one on 40, I might do one on a 28 count linen, and just see how I go. So this is sort of the base of where I'll commence. So what I've done is I've been collecting, I'm going to zoom this out so you can sort of see the size a bit better. I've been collecting things that you could use as the base of the tree. Now, Liz from Liz Matthews uses flower frogs, and she uses flower frogs for them all, which if I find a nice little one, I'll grab one of those as well. But so this one is an old ink pottery inkwell. This one is an old oil can, so it's nice and rusty and crusty. This one is an old salt and pepper shaker, so I'll be able to make that into the base. So as you can see, I'm going to get all sort of different sizes. And I found these at a craft shop. These were Tim Holtz. I'm not sure exactly what they were for, but I thought they were sweet. And I've got 2 of these little pots as well. So when I see things at the thrift store or the antique store that might suit, I grab them. Like this one cost me, I think, 50 cents, and it was just a single salt and pepper shaker. Whereas this guy, because he was brand new in a craft shop, I think it was like $8 or so for the 2. This was gifted to me by my sister, and this one, dare I say it, I paid 25 Australian dollars for, but I just love it. I do love old rusty crusty things, and I thought it was going to be perfect. So this was my first one, and I have since started to collect all different bits and pieces. So when they're on the shelf, the trees themselves hopefully will look a bit foresty, that they'll all be different heights and sizes and shapes, and some that I'll be able to display, not necessarily at Christmas time as well. I can just pop them out as a bit of a filler in the decor depending on what the season is. So racing along with this one, I've only got another 2 pairs to go, and then I can start forming the tree and get an idea of fabric count and the size. I haven't watched Liz Matthews' tutorial yet. She's got a Flosstube episode that is just on making the tree and putting it together, but I just love how it's coming along. Just putting my bases away and forgot that I also had this one too. So this is a bit bigger, so this will have to be like either a 14 count or a 28 count, which I think it was like for a candle votive, like for a tea light, but I think it will make either I can put it that way or I may even put it that way, and it will be a perfect little base for one of my trees. Again, next to nothing at the thrift store at the moment. I've just got it's on my shelf with just some cotton in it. Little bit of stitching there, wasn't there? Now, my stitching is going to sort of the way not my rotation, because I've never really had a rotation. I am a challenge, or have been a challenge stitcher for many, well, not many years, 3-4 years, since I sort of really got back into Flosstube and stitching. But after stitching the Taylor Swift project, which you'll see in any previous video, I had to do that one monogamously because it was a gift and I wanted to get that out. And I actually really enjoyed just working on one project. And as you can see from that new start with the first day of Christmas from Liz Matthews, I've just haven't wanted to put that one down because I just love seeing it come together. And I'm probably only 2 stitching days away from a finish. So I don't know whether then I'll dabble in a bit of this and a bit of that, or whether I'll just pick up something else like the Quaker Christmas and just run with it and keep going. So the counting for me has sort of lost its draw card. I've just found that once I wasn't counting, I was getting more stitching done because I don't use Pattern Keeper. So when I count, after every thread I'd count, I'd tally it up, and you're picking up pen and paper, putting that down, and so forth. So after not doing it, I've realized that I actually enjoy not counting. So we'll see where this takes me and so forth. I'll still probably join in some challenges like the one that Carolyn Zook does, the ABC Singo and the Bringo. I think I might give those a try next time round. I haven't done those previously because I've always been doing other challenges and it gets too much. So I might give those ones a try as something different when they come up, and maybe whip go, I don't know. We'll see how we go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is some ones that I'm going to sadly de-kit. So I'll pop the detail, I'll show you those projects now. Now sadly I have decided that I am going to UFO 2 of my current whips that are in my whip rotation. The first one being this one, Oh Feathers by Rosewood Manor. I'm finding I'm just not enjoying it. It was going to be a gift for someone and it just seems to be taking forever. This is where I'm up to with it. It's 1/1 and the counting is so finicky and fiddly that I have found a different peacock chart, which I'll insert here, which I'm going to do as a replacement as the gift that I was thinking for this person. So this is on a decent bit of fabric, so I will just cut out that little bit, put the threads, which were Silks for You, back into my kit and pass the chart on. The other one I have decided to UFO is my Quaker Quilts, the Carriage House Samplings. I really don't care for the animals in this one. I was only ever picking it up for challenges, and I don't know, I just can't see myself displaying this anywhere other than my craft room, and it's a lot of bulk stitching. So this is what I'm UFOing. I may even turn it into a little drum or a little pillow yet, I don't know. but this is on some lovely hand-dyed fabric that I don't want to waste. So as you can see, it's quite a big piece. So I will still have a nice chunk to be able to reuse. And these flosses were Victorian motto. So this one is also going to get UFO'd and the chart will be passed along. It's actually quite refreshing to make that decision and go, yeah, I don't enjoy this project. It's time to go. So those ones I have now dekitted. All I have to do is trim off the stitching and put those fabrics back into my stash. So I'm now going to show you what I have found at, no, I found a purchase. It was on Marketplace. It wasn't at the thrift store. Sadly, the reason for the purchase, it still didn't fit my Consider the Lilies, but I'm still really happy with what I found. So I'll pop that in here for you. So these are my Marketplace finds for frames. Now, all of them do have needlework in them, which I am going to be taking out so I can repurpose the frames for myself. This is the biggest one. I was hoping it was going to be big enough for Consider the Lilies, but it does fall short, unfortunately. But it is a lovely, it's got some lovely detail on the frame and it is in quite good condition. It doesn't have glass. The mat board is damaged, so it is purely just going to be for the frame purpose only. The next one underneath is another large piece. Excuse the reflection. Now this is a pansy. I can't even really show you. But again, another lovely frame. And I think this one, no, so they're all being professionally framed, but just damaged over time. The next one is this one. Again, wool tapestry or wool needlepoint. I'm not really sure what it is. This frame's probably my favourite frame. It's got some depth to it. Needs a bit of a clean up. Now this one did have some writing on it from 1990. And then the final piece, which is an embroidery piece. So I'm going to take this one out and probably make a project bag out of the embroidery. Again, no glass. Nice, lovely frame. So I picked these pieces up purely for the frame because I do like these more intricate looking detailed frames, and to buy the frame it's very expensive. So I was very happy with that find, but now it's time to clean them up and take out the pieces. Aren't they great? It's going to be so good having some really big frames to be able to pick and choose from, and Mr. Patchy Pony is able to cut frames down and fit them for me to smaller pieces if need be. So I'm really happy to have those in my stash, and I've also got a lovely piece of embroidery there to make into a project bag, which I haven't done as yet, but it is on my to-do list. So what I want to share with you now is my future fun. This is some of the purchases from the retreat, from a Cruel Gobelin, and also another Stitchy, well, a craft store we went to before heading up to the retreat. And also I'll pop in the retreat bag so you can see all the lovely goodies that we got. So I'll pop that in here. Okay, time to show you the future fun that I purchased while I was away in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. After Emily picked me up from the airport, we headed to the Sewing Basket in Sydney. Silverwater, actually I can remember, there you go. And it's sort of the major depot for the craft resources that come in for resale, and the Sewing Basket is just craft stuff only, not just sewing, all sorts of things, but it is like a thrift shop on steroids. It was amazing, and I could have bought so much, but I had to be aware of what I had already brought with me, because I had a lot of whips and so forth that I wanted to bring. So I had to be very reserved in what I purchased. So the first purchase I got was just this little bundle of fat quarters that are sort of pre-matched together. So that was what I thought was a good price for $6, and nice for either backing fabrics for pillows and stuff, or for my EPP. The next thing I purchased was these 2 bundles of 5-inch squares, perfect for quilting, but also for English paper piecing. And what I took with me to the retreat to give away to people that I had chats to and so forth were these little scissor fobs or zipper pulls, whichever you prefer. And all they are is 2 hexies that I've then bound together with a bit of ribbon and a lobster claw, and these are the perfect size to make more of these. So I just really don't like the cutting out bit for English paper piecing, getting the fabric to this size. So I was like, yep, I'll have those, and I can make some more hexies. What I do with them, whether I make more of these or just put them in my completed hexie basket for other quilts and stuff I may make. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I couldn't give those up for $3 a bundle. The next thing I purchased there also was these 2 pieces of felt. So just a nice brown felt to fit, because at Spotlight the felt's really quite hard and like it hasn't got any give to it, where this felt is quite soft. So a nice big bundle there for $1. Like I can't go saying no to that, and it's brown. And a lot of my smalls, I do tend to like the more earthy colours. And then I got this nice teal blue, and this I think is wool felt, because it's actually got more of a woolen feel to it. And I would have picked up quite a few more bundles was it not the real cheap type of wool felt. But these 2 I was really pleased with the quality, so I grabbed those. And the last purchase I made at the sewing basket was these. Now they had baskets of these. These are lace bobbins, for those who may not have seen lace bobbining before. I'm not going to be using these for lace bobbining. I just like these more so as a decorative piece that I'll style into my decor with my little bits and bobs. And they were $4 a pair, so I couldn't leave those behind. I thought they were really sweet. I am going to take off these bits. Yeah, they're not to my liking, but I certainly like the timber with the old thread on it. So that was the sewing basket. I lied. There was one more piece that I missed from the sewing basket. I purchased this little embroidery kit, which was quite sweet. I think it's quite relatively a new kit, because I saw someone recently showing this on Flosstube, and it was really lovely little piece. And I haven't done a lot of embroidery, but I thought this might be a nice little starter kit, and it's brand new, hasn't been opened. So let's have a look what's in this pack together. If I can find the... So what we have, oh, isn't that sweetly set up? So we've got the threads. Oh, they're beautiful colours actually. I really quite like that. We've got the threads. We've got a nice piece of fabric with the pattern on it. Now I haven't done embroidery before, but this looks like a silk ribbon for finish. Oh yes, for the bow. A little tag. And this must be the instructions. Look at all those French knots. If I'm not a French knot expert after this, and a lazy daisy expert. But that looks like a nice little weekend project coming up. So looking forward to doing that. Ooh, and a bit of, I'm not sure what that's for, but there's also a tiny bit of twine in there. So I'll pack all that up and get onto my I struggle with this. The Cruel Goblin future fun. So the next stop we made before heading up to the retreat in the Hunter Valley was the Cruel Goblin in Killara, which is a suburb in Sydney. So definitely worth popping in there if you're in the area, because it is a stunning little shop. So I had a little bit of a shopping list in mind, and my first option I wanted to check out was the Bread de Chevet. They didn't have anything there that I wanted, and I also wanted to check out the blackbirds, and I added this blackbird into my stash. Now the reason I particularly like this one is after doing my house in Consider the Lilies, I think I like doing houses and mortar and brickwork. So I picked up this one, which I didn't have. Also love the little bees there as well. So that one is going to be kitted up shortly. I added to my Hello from Liz Matthews trees. So I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6 now. So I just grab one of those when I see them. So I've added number 5 to my stash. I don't think I'm going to use the word piece, so I think I'll find something else that I'll use instead of that. And I couldn't help pick up this one when I saw it. Look at those chickens. They are just so cute. This is a Stacey Nash pin keep, but apparently it is quite large. They said yes, 173 by 173. So I can't wait to do those chickens. They look so cute. Now I did go in there knowing that I was going to buy some Vildanis. Look at this gorgeousness of colours. So I like these little, you can get bigger bobbin, well they're not bobbins, little spool, no they're not even spools, bowls I guess you'd call them. So you can get bigger ones, but I quite like, oh sorry I wobbled then, quite like these small ones. So I'm using these just for decorational purposes because they're so darn cute. But then I'll probably end up stitching with them anyway because they're just lovely to stitch on. So they're a 3-ply silk. And I also picked up these 3 little wooden bobbins. A bit hard to see. I'll just zoom back out so you can see how small they are. They're just so cute. So I'll also use those for some styling on my decor. I may even wrap some rickrack or something around them. And I've got 3 different wood colours there as well. And they've even got like a slit there so you can actually use them for what their intended purpose is. I don't know if you can see that. But they were so sweet that I couldn't leave those behind. I would have grabbed all of them had it been in my budget. But again, also I didn't know how much I was going to be spending at Daisy Chain, so couldn't spend all the budget in one go. Upon entering the retreat in Pecolbin for our first look at the room and also to get our tables, these little gift bags were sitting on the table waiting for us. So I'll go through these with you and show you what we received. So one of the Fat Quarter Shop's bags, these have been a bit of a favourite. You can stitch on these, so it was nice to have one of those. Then there was the Retreat Piece Kit, which is from Mojo Stitches, and it's called Dove and Daisy Dove and Daisy Needle Book, and it's a full kit. And we also had a little tutorial from Jo, who is Mojo Stitches, on how to put this together, and it's a no sewing machine finish. So I'll just get out the bits and pieces to show you what is in the kit. So we've got our DMC thread, a needle, some wool felt, some more wool felt, and then we've got the backing fabric and also this beautiful piece of Daisy Chain linen, which is a 32 count. So just to show you, so we stitch on the linen, and then that's the inside fabric, and then we also have the piece of wool felt, and then we cut a heart out of our own. There is a template that you can cut out whatever shape you like, and we had a little tutorial on how to stitch that all together. So I'm looking forward to doing this one in the near future. Okay, and then this beautiful see-through daisy chain bag that we got. It was just so cute. So what was in the kit, in the bag? So there was some neck lights, a daisy chain notebook, a needle threader with a little daisy charm. Oh, not that one. A needle minder from Ginger Stitch AU with a bee. some thread drops. I've got a large number of these thread drops now. I think Teresa puts in 20 or so in the pack, so I do like those. Also from Ginger Stitch AU is a thread winder, so for your DMC if you want to put them on floss drops, a floss drop holder. There were also some individual floss drops, but I did gift them to Jess, one of my table mates and roommates. Beautiful pair of scissors with the sheath, quite like those. And the pen and highlighter, which I use mine of all the time. So, and this gorgeous little bag that we'll be able to reuse for all sorts of bits and bobs. I really love that. So Teresa, you did a fantastic job with the gift bag. So the purchases that I made at the retreat was mainly just fabric and also a chart. So I've got some Petty Point, 32 count, which I love Petty Point. And I picked out 3 different shades. I'll just move that one out of the way. 3 different shades of neutrals from Teresa's range. And they're all, yes, all 36 count linen. But I've come to realise a neutrals girl. And I just like having neutrals available in my stash. So picked up 3 different shades of cream and brown there, which I was really happy with. And I also picked up this particular beast. It looks like a big one. My first Teresa Kogut, Remember Me. And again, look, it's a house, but I love this border. And when I was buying this, I didn't realise that Jess had also bought it, so we'll be hopefully stitching along together when I get my butt organised and kitted up. And I also purchased this little wool felt pumpkin. I couldn't say no to that. That is so cute. So I got that from Tess, who was a vendor there at the retreat. Now, the Smalls Exchange, I've already shown you, I hope, what my Smalls Exchange was. And this is what I received as mine. So I've got a little, it's not a pin pillow, but it's just a little pillow for the decor, Save the Bees. And it was in a bee bag, so I knew that it was going to be bee related. And Deb stitched this one, and it's got a lovely little bee skip on the outside, and it's got lavender. So it's actually got a lovely fragrance to go with it. And then there was some bee accoutrement, also some little bee salt and pepper shakers, a few different bee tags, and also some floss drops, and then also a little bee key ring, which we're going to use as thread bling. So that was lovely. Then what also and finally, to add into my future fun is some lovely goodies that the girls that I stayed with passed on. So I've got 2 pieces of fabric that were headed for the freebie table, which I snaffled up before them, before it went there. So this is a 32 count linen by number 12 Stitch Co, which is a beautiful, beautiful piece of linen. And then there's another 36 count flax, which has already had a project from it, but I will certainly make do with that. So that was a good stash filler. And then also Emily got this particular piece of linen in a kit, and this whole piece is massive, so the project itself is going to be huge, but it was a little bit too stiff for Emily's liking, so I certainly was more than happy to add that to my stash. And then Jess gifted 3 of us, so the 3 other girls that I'm doing Maria Finny with, Jess gifted the GH to us for our next one. So that was just such a generous gift, Jess. Thank you. I'm looking forward to stitching this one, and my goal is to get it at least halfway finished before the next daisy chain retreat. Jess also made a beautiful stitched Christmas decoration, and there's also some Sourdough that goes with this particular chart. So that was lovely. And then Emily also passed on some needlepoint silks in this beautiful red colour, which you can't see Beautiful red colour from a kit that she was doing, but she changed it to a blue, and I just love red and those needle points. I haven't used needlepoint silk before, so I'm really looking forward to those. And then also Linda had the Garden Avery, which I quite like as well. I can't open it to show you, but yeah, that's quite a sweet little chart as well. So lots and lots of goodies to keep me busy for a while. Probably don't need to shop for a long time now, but we've got the Fox and Rabbit retreat coming up in 4 weeks, so I'll have to be good. All right. Okay, that's me about done. I've got some sourdough on the go. Over the weekend, I had a friend come over who's quite prolific in sourdough making and has given me an all-day lesson. I have had a go at it before and didn't really know what I was doing, and the starter died and it just didn't work out too well. So we're giving that another crack, and so far 2 successful loaves, but I am flying solo today, so we'll see how loaf number 3 comes out. So I should catch up with you again in November after Halloween and the retreat that's coming up, and I'll share all the goodies and the kit that we receive. Looking forward to seeing what that's going to be. I'm hoping it is something that is not overly Halloweeny, but is something that I can adapt to being autumnish. So if you are interested in some horse videos, they are coming up. I do get feedback, that people like the videos of the horses. So I always keep that at the end. So if it's not your thing, by all means, no need to watch those, but here comes some videos of my beloved ponies, and I will see you soon back in November. Hope you all stay well and safe, everybody. Bye.